NXT TakeOver WarGames 2. It is November 17th, 2018. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan and Raj Giri. Second WarGames, this time from the Staples Center Survivor Series weekend. Matt Morgan, what did you think of the pay-per-view?
Pretty damn impressive. Yeah,
it was good. Raj?
I thought it was, I was entertained as hell throughout the whole show. I thought it was an awesome show. I thought they kicked out of too much shit, but outside of that, I thought it was a really cool show. And maybe not the best takeover, but
right.
I was entertained the whole time. I think Adam Cole is a superstar. I worry about him on the main roster because of his size, but I do think that this was entertaining as hell. I loved it. It was fun.
The pacing was interesting. To have that WarGames match last after everything else we saw. Certainly, is there such a thing as like awesome fatigue? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too much. You know, WWE pay-per-views, they'd always have like, I hate to say it, but back in the day, like the Divas matches would be the matches to bring you down a little bit, you know, to kind of catch your breath before you go to the main event. And
that had to be last. The WarGames had to be last.
I understand that.
Yeah, but they don't have a buffer.
Oh God, no NXT pay-per-view does. It is bang,
right.
bang, bang.
It's go.
Main event.
Mm-hmm.
For me.
You know what it reminds me of? I'm a big Ramones fan, and I went and saw the Ramones on their last tour, and they just keep playing hit after hit, and every time you go to catch a breath, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and another one, and after a while, you're like, guys, play a ballad, do something.
At least Bon Jovi has some new shit. So when we saw Bon Jovi, they'd do Living on a Prayer, and then they'd do some of their new stuff, and then you go get a drink and go to the bathroom, then you come back for their old stuff.
Yeah, but with this, it's like I could just use a little break, something. And we really kicked it off tonight. Thought what we knew what the opening match was going to be, but instead we got Matt Riddle coming out there and interrupted by Cassius Ohno. We knew they were going to have a match. It was supposed to air this coming Wednesday on NXT, and they had it right then and there. Matt making his NXT debut, taking out Cassius Ohno with a knee. But you can tell from the pre-show and the way they've built this, I mean, they're really, really high on this guy. How do you think this went as far as NXT debuts, Matt?
He debuted on NXT TV already, though.
Yeah, but I mean debut matches.
As far as a takeover debut.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He's very different. You know, his entrance is kind of weird. But, I mean, it's different. You know, I'm a fan of anything different. Kid's in great shape. He looks like an athlete. He's got that background of legit. Everyone assumes he's a legit badass because he's from MMA. That adds to the mystique, right? Mm-hmm. Great looking kid, and you know, hopefully he gets some time down there, and they really, really develop him now. We get a character instead of this crap. That crap don't work.
Yeah, Matt, he's not doing it for me. I think he's talented as hell. He has look, but I think that the bro stuff and that toker surfer. I find it, I don't know if it's my age, you know, I am 43, so I don't know if it's just my age, but I find it annoying.
No, it's not your age. It's not your age. It's corny as hell. Like,
yeah, done.
That was the crap that used to be on my Bart Simpson Cowabunga shirt when I was a kid. It's corny as hell.
I mean, people love Matt Riddle, and I think he's a hell of an athlete, and there's a ton of potential, but he doesn't scream superstar to me right now.
Because of what they have him wearing. Look, he went through a Lost and Found.
But no, that's him. That's what he's been doing on the indies. I think that works for a certain percentage of the audience, but at some point, that's not a mainstream superstar look and delivery. And he's got to change that if he's going to make it on the main roster because he has all the tools.
They have to change it. Look what they used to do with Alexa Bliss and others. They'll change it. They have to change it.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope he goes along with it because,
he can still be laid back. It'd be who he is. I've only seen YouTube clips of him in the ring wrestling. I've never seen what his entrance looked like. So I didn't see what he was wearing until NXT. I was like, what the?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of Rob Van Dam, but more annoying. Ooh. Like Rob Van Dam wasn't annoying, right? Back in the day. Like Rob Van Dam had that very laid back personality, and that's cool, and that could work. And that could work on a main event level.
They can't write for it though. They couldn't write for Rob worth shit.
No. Yeah. It sucked.
It's hard to write for that type of person.
Especially when Vince doesn't get it. When Vince understands your character, it's very different. You can see when he gets it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is more Spicoli bro than say, Long Island, like what Zack Ryder was doing.
Yes.
So little different. But the bro thing, I don't know. I mean, did you guys follow here in the Bay Area? We've got Hood Slam with Broseph Joe Brody. He won the Rock the promo. It's AJ Kirsch who was on Tough Enough.
Oh yeah.
I think he's like the pinnacle of the bro gimmick. So anything else trying to do that now just seems like a letdown.
Yeah, whatever you just said, sure.
I keep looking at like which of these NXT stars can bring in new fans and can be that superstar. And I only see one, and that's Adam Cole. I think
one
really
Velveteen Dream all
Ricochet.
day, 24 hours a day. Ricochet, 36 hours a day.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe he did a double, triple India, dude. That dude is money.
Yeah, but how many people tune into wrestling for moves, and how many tune in new fans for moves, and how many for characters? You know what I mean? And personalities.
Let's be honest. Let's say one of your friends that don't watch wrestling walked into the living room when he hit that crap off the top cage. You mean to tell me they're not going to sit down and watch more?
I don't know, because sometimes you see those street performers doing crazy shit. They're like,
I stop.
Yeah, you stop, but you're not like, oh, I need to keep watching this every week.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's not really on TV. Yeah.
But so you'll see like the Daredevil stuff. I mean, look, I think Ricochet is amazing, and I do think he could be the next Rey Mysterio. I just don't see him being the next John Cena.
He could be bigger than Rey. I mean, I know it sounds crazy. I think he could be bigger than Rey.
Probably,
if they do him right.
Yeah,
that's what's important here.
The next Cena or the next Rock.
How much shorter is he than AJ Styles? Do we know?
He's 5'10", like I think it's like a buck 80, buck 90, or maybe it's like 5'8".
But he's shredded, so his weight's irrelevant. But his height though is what I'm worried about. If he's the same height as AJ, who's 5'10",
Ricochet's 5'9".
Then they're good to go.
195.
Ooh, that means he's probably really 5'8", I'm guessing.
Yeah, right.
No, seriously, yeah.
No, for sure, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, just jumping over a bunch of stuff doesn't make you Evel Knievel. You have to be a character. But I think Ricochet is, though. I think they just haven't let that fully develop.
He's got the look. He's
got a smoothness and a coolness to him that you can't write for. It's just this isms he gives off in the ring when he hits his stuff. It's just cool. It's I hate to use his comparison because he's nothing like him, but it's almost rock-esque. The cool vibe I get from him when he hits his stuff. That dude's a cool mother bleep is what I always keep saying when I watch this dude.
He has his promos. Have you listened to his promos?
I'm purposely not.
Yeah.
His trash talking leaves a lot to be desired too with his little boys. Whatever.
But he's got the look down. Back when he had the long hair, when you see those old photos of him, he does not look like a superstar.
Wow, can't imagine.
Yeah, did you ever see those pictures of Ricochet?
No, I gotta go look.
Yeah, I mean, it's the difference. So it's like when Dwayne Johnson had hair. He didn't look as cool. Something about it. He got the right look. He got the right gimmick, the right style. But I think Ricochet could be huge. They just have to give him something. That's why I thought, it's good he got the spot in the WarGames match tonight. I thought that was a bit of a demotion for him being thrown into that match compared to where he's been on the card before, but he certainly made the most of it. After Matt Riddle made quick work of Cassius Ohno, we got the 2 out of 3 falls match for the NXT Women's title. Kairi Sane.
Real quick, with Cassius Ohno, have you guys heard that he has a thyroid issue?
I would imagine that would be true because of what his build. I mean, look at it.
If that is true, he should use that as part of his character. Because I think people look at him and they think lazy. It's just the automatic things that you think.
But that's come on, he's like just going out there and start yelling as the like, I've got a thyroid issue.
No, but you do like the personality, promos.
It's not glandular. I'm not fat. I'm big bone.
No, like you're doing an interview with him, and you're like, hey, overcoming this thyroid issue, and is it hard to maintain your rings, work, and just to let people know. So that way,
then you're watching them though differently. You're watching them as a fat ass now, whereas we're not. We're kind of now watching them like nobody really wants to say it or admit it because we're fans and we like to watch him work. We like his work. And the minute you throw a magnifying glass on top of him being fat and why he's fat, I can't unsee that. I can't unhear that.
See, I think it's already there.
But as a heel, though, it's not going to be taken seriously as a heel.
No, then don't have him be a heel. Because right now, I don't see Cassius Ohno on the main roster. I see him where he's at in NXT. And if he does make it to the main roster, it'll be like a No Way Jose thing where he's wrestling on main event. And just,
I thought he was one of those player coaches. He's going to become a trainer ultimately, sort of things.
Who cares? Go on to the next match. Who cares about it? That's just don't know.
Oh, Chris Hero, you've fallen so far.
He's so good, though.
He is really good.
Yes. 2 out of 3 falls match. NXT Women's Title. Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. We had Shafir and Duke ringside, 2 of the 4 horsewomen in Baszler's corner. And yeah, what can I say? Shayna Baszler ended up retaining this. This match went on a decent length, but I don't know. Shayna's sticking around in NXT. Matt, would this meet your expectations going into it?
Sure. I mean, this was the worst match in the card for me.
Huh.
Yeah.
Really?
Not that it was bad. It was good, but that's how good I thought the rest of the other matches were. Doesn't do much. I like Zayn a lot, but Baszler and the 4 horsewomen, I don't like it.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with the horsewomen. I love Kairi Sane. I think she has such an you want to get behind her, you know, like she's this very like nice, innocent character that you just kind of fall behind. And I think she plays it well. And I think she is that. Shayna's got, you know, she's trying to do the bully thing. And I just think the horsewomen together, they don't, and it's funny because they are legit badasses.
I know. Yeah.
But they don't look it, you know? If you don't know their MMA background, if you haven't followed them, you look at them, it's like 3 people that were at a bar, you know, at a biker bar that are hanging out together.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't look like a superstar act.
Right.
Yeah. So there was some back and forth. Dakota Kai came out at one point, Io Shirai, to assist Kairi in this, but ultimately it wasn't enough.
Shirai looked awesome. And Dakota Kai, I think, is also a superstar in the making. If you know, if she keeps improving in the ring, she's awesome. Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, and you know, Shayna Baszler, if she keeps working on her character, I think she's 39, but
wow,
or 36.
I didn't know
Let me
that.
double check that, but yeah.
Yeah, born 1980, 38 years old.
38. Okay.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
WWE, I mean, they usually don't sign people that age, so.
Well, when you're Ronda Rousey's best friend,
It's got its perks.
It helps. So they already recorded a match in San Jose on Thursday for TV in the coming weeks. It's going to have Kairi and Dakota teaming against Jessamine Duke and Shafir. And I believe they are billed as representing the 4 horsewomen. And I won't spoil the outcome of that match, but it seems like they're going with this. They're keeping it going. I thought tonight
at least 3 horsewomen.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But I think, I don't know. I know we've gone into this, Raj, on differing sides. I think they're going to get involved with Ronda and the 4 horsewomen of NXT with Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha.
So they did a match at the NXT tapings the other night with Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke, and no one gave a shit. It was like quiet. That was the quietest match on the show.
Yeah.
So do you want that creeping into Ronda Rousey? Do you want Ronda Rousey's your biggest star? Do you want that?
Tagging with people who look like who are just sitting in the audience? No.
Right. I don't think it's a good idea. I think they both got a lot of potential, but I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see. So yeah, Shayna Baszler retained the NXT championship. Where do you think they go from here with this? Bianca Belair has been wanting a title shot. Do you think she's next for Shayna, or who gets the next crack at this?
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
I think that the fact that they had Dakota Kai run in, I would think Dakota or Io Shirai.
Yeah,
I can see Bianca Belair too. She's got that poise and natural charisma that. But I wouldn't rush it either. I would keep her waiting in the wings, keep giving her victories. Go to Dakota Kai for now, and then go, because Dakota Kai and Shayna Baszler, they have history.
Yeah. After that, we got Johnny Gargano versus Alistair Black. Johnny Gargano, this is his 11th appearance on the main card of a TakeOver, setting the record. I believe Asuka's second with 10 appearances on TakeOvers. This match, man, I mean, this would have been an incredibly satisfactory main event on any card. What did you think of this, Matt? What did you think of this match?
outrageous, so good, so good. I'm still having a hard time with Johnny as a heel, obviously, but the match itself was incredible. I'm a huge Black fan. He's got to work on his body a little bit, but what he does in that ring is original. You know what I mean? Everything he does is different. He keeps my eye on him the entire match.
What do you mean work on his body? He's pretty ripped.
No, he's not. He looked a little skinny fat to me tonight, dude. He looked soft. He didn't look like, which is crazy to say because he is a good athlete. But like when you're in NXT, there's no excuse not to be shredded.
Yeah.
You're locked in that gym all day. The best trainers, they have dietitians. I went there and saw inside the refrigerator. They all have their own meal prep services. so like they have no excuse not to be in the best shape of their lives. He came off an injury. I know that's different. It's hard to come back from an injury and get your body shape back. But look now versus when he first started. He's not as tight as he used to be in the abdomen.
On the flip side, you know who looked in the best shape I've ever seen him in was Alistair Black. I mean, he looked way more because Alistair Black was always skinny.
No,
fat.
that's who I meant. That's what I'm talking about. That's who I'm.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Johnny Gargano.
No, no, God, no. I apologize.
Okay.
I meant Black.
Oh, really? I thought Black looked in the best shape he's ever looked. But that's not saying much because he used to not have any definition before.
I never saw any, and then I thought when he began, he kind of kept him covered up properly enough.
Yeah, he had the CM Punk body, but I thought he looked a lot more muscular tonight.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. I was like, man, Johnny Gargano, he's ripped. He's small.
He is a little shredded. Yeah, he is.
Thought he looked good. Thought he had a good match. I thought both had a great match tonight. Yeah,
they did.
I thought this was awesome. I thought this was the match of the show. I thought this was the best match.
Yeah. You know what? No, I like. Well, we'll get to the next match. Was it for me?
The Velveteen Dream. That was awesome too. I mean, it's always hard to pick with the takeovers because it's really is. It's almost just personal preference at some point because they're all pretty awesome. But Johnny Gargano, what do you do with him? I don't see him. He's too small, for the main roster. I don't mean that. My personal opinion. I just mean realistically.
You know what they're going to do to him.
Exactly. You know what they did with Chad Gable. You know what they've done with Evan Bourne and all these talented guys that are not 200 pounds and that do not have that size and that do not have overly crazy charisma. If you got overly crazy charisma like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan was able to make it, they were the exceptions to the rule. They're not the rule.
AJ's
still pretty. He's bigger than these guys, He's
no more than 5'10".
But he's he's probably like 215, 220, right? Like he couldn't be a cruiserweight. I don't know. I should double check that.
His listed weight is nowhere near what his real weight is.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just weird. I feel like what do you do with a lot of this talent that's on this card? I mean, for
Velveteen Dream and Black, put them on the main roster and stay the F out of their way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure Black will be, tagging with Bray Wyatt within 3 weeks.
I could see Vince fucking up the Velveteen Dream.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm petrified of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I could see him be like, "Oh, I love it. Why don't we have him coming out to Purple Rain and
Dude, everything he does clicks. Everything he does. The Hogan stuff still, I didn't think it was cheesy, corny. Everything he does clicks for me as a fan.
He's got so much charisma. He knows his character. And he knows how to incorporate the Hogan stuff into his character. It's not like when Jay Lethal is trying to be Macho Man and it's kind of cheesy. He makes it a part of his character.
Charisma, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but he has the most charisma I've seen in years.
Yeah.
Years. It just pours out of him. Everything he does, and he's athletic as hell. You see him flying around the ring, get into the top rope.
Yeah.
He climbed to the outside, and before you know it, he'd be on the top rope in 1 second. His athleticism is insane. The suplex to the outside of the ring, the stuff he does is crazy.
He's awesome.
God, so Alistair Black. I'm sorry.
Yep. Go ahead. Let's get
so Alistair Black beat Gargano. Now let's talk about the match of the night: the Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT title. Matt, go.
Awesome. 55-star match. No, this was my favorite match in months for me. Many months for me. Like the story that they told. And anything you have with Ciampa in it is going to have a great story. He's incredible as far as being a heel and sticking to be trying to be a heel, and how he gets his heat, changing gears in the match. Not enough people are probably going to talk about him. He did incredible. His character I'm digging. And the obvious is Velveteen Dream here. That guy's a star on every level. I don't know. I mean, his punches, he needs works on his punches. That's one thing physically I did see he needs to work on. His punches are the drizzling shits at the moment. They'll get better as he keeps going, though. He's got to change it up, though. He's throwing these open hands, and sometimes they'll cover for him by calling him a paintbrush and bitch slap and things like that. Those are his punches. He's just getting caught opening at the last second. He's got to watch that. I used to do the same thing. I had the same problems. I was scared of opening people's foreheads up with stiff punches, and no one will want to work with you, right? So he's got to get through that, and he will because he's so young. But everything else on that dude is main. For me, he's a main event talent.
I tweeted this. I love this match, but they kicked out of too much shit.
Oh, yeah. I get a redo. I'm so sorry. Yes, the DDT on the championship, as I was talking to Raj before the show started, was bullshit. You cannot kick out of that. Nobody could kick out of that. The Jim Cornette would say, "There's no head machine in the gym, folks." There's not. Why was he able to kick out of that? Is his head tougher than everyone else's? Is his face tougher than everyone else's? Does he have more muscle on his face than everyone else? No, it makes no sense. You cannot kick out of that.
Yeah, and he did his finisher on the outside of the ring, brought him back in, hit the elbow from the top, and they still kicked out. It's the problem with today's wrestling is that false finishes get the "this is awesome" chance going, and it's like at some point it gets stupid, and then it's like then all those moves didn't mean shit. If he can't keep you down for 3 minutes, this move that is supposed to make it look like it kills you and only keeps you down for 2. It meant nothing. You put the foot on the ropes, do something. But they just kick out of too much stuff.
I wanted him to win, and the fact he didn't win scares me to death that they're going to call him up because I think
they are. I think Velveteen Dream is next. I worry. he's a superstar if used right, but we've seen Bobby Roode.
Yeah. If he goes to SmackDown, I have a little bit of faith. I have faith.
Yeah.
If he goes to Raw, I'm worried.
Well, if it goes to Raw, he's going to be on main event within 2 months.
And that'll be the biggest sin in WWE for the last so many years. I mean, yeah.
I mean, why? But why? Why even call him up at this point? I mean, they haven't been cutting people lately. It's...
where do you put him?
Yeah. It's like I'd rather them expand NXT to 90 minutes or 2 hours.
Now, I would watch him than some other people on both rosters, obviously. But the hierarchy in WWE and how it works. You're right. He would be. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that because he is so good. I'm like his biggest fan.
Yeah.
I love watching him, and this guy, like, he has so much future in front of him. He's so young, and to get this part of the game this early, oh my god.
And Raw is kind of a death nail too, if you're not big and
yes,
and because Vince pays so much attention to it, and he has his idea of what a star is. So you see, like, these guys that thrived on SmackDown move to Raw, and now they're on. You see Jinder or
Bobby.
Bobby, exactly. I mean, you see these acts that they were doing something before, and now they're nothing. And the move to Raw didn't. There was no reason to move into Raw. It didn't spread the Raw roster out. It doesn't help anyone out. Anyway, I just hope that most of the guys on NXT outside of Lars Sullivan, I think, are better SmackDown fits. And Lars Sullivan is someone that I think Vince is going to give, kind of like a Baron Corbin. He's going to give him a shot.
Yeah. All big guys get an initial shot.
Yeah. So after 50 million false finishes, Ciampa did a DDT on the steel partition between the 2 rings and then dragged Dream over and covered him for the pin to retain the championship. I mean, that's like Ciampa, Gargano. I mean, I don't know.
They're all under 200 pounds or right at 200 pounds.
Yeah.
They're not, I mean, they barely make 205 Live.
But at the same time, don't you think NXT is going to run into a problem? Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but every single act on this card, with the exception of Matt Riddle tonight, has been on a takeover before.
The War Raiders haven't yet, right?
Okay. Well, so there you go. There's one act that was new tonight, but everyone else, I mean, how many more times can they go around with these very similar cards before? I mean, and it was awesome tonight, but I think people are going to get bored.
I mean, I think you can. I'd rather them do that than go to the main roster and fade away into obscurity. And by the way, I have an idea for how Adam Cole can revive 205 Live, and that could be a hot brand if done right.
Go ahead. What is it?
All right. Tell me what you think, Matt. At Survivor Series, you have Shane McMahon and Stephanie arguing back and forth. Like, let's say Raw wins the first 2 matches, and Shane's like, all right, you have done nothing with the Cruiserweight brand. If we win the next match, we get the Cruiserweight brand. Boom. They win the next match, they get the Cruiserweight brand. And then Shinsuke Nakamura loses the title to Adam Cole. Adam Cole comes to the main roster, wins the U.S. title from Nakamura. So now he's on SmackDown, wins a big belt. And Buddy Murphy starts doing an open challenge. And then he's doing it week after week. 1 week, Adam Cole answers it. Boom. He shows up on 205 Live, accepts. And now he's on both the main roster on SmackDown. 205 Live is part of SmackDown, and he's on 205 Live. And because 205 Live has no personality, it has no charisma, it has no characters. Adam Cole is the guy that could bring eyeballs to it. And then you bring in the Undisputed Era to 205 Live, and you're building on SmackDown to 205 Live. I think that could be something. And then you start bringing in the Rey Mysterios who could work both SmackDown and 205 Live. And then you get the Ricochets and all these guys that would be misused otherwise. And then you get, you just need personality, and Adam Cole can bring that. And you treat the Undisputed Era as like an NWO on 205 Live. It could be something. It's nothing right now, but
Undisputed on 205 Live would be pretty dope.
Yeah. But you don't want to waste Adam Cole just on 205 Live. You got to have him on the main roster, and him being U.S. champion would instantly bring some credibility to it. So he's like a double champion.
Okay, but here's the dilemma. Because 205 and all those guys on that roster are considered inferior by the mainstream fans that watch the show, the main fan that watches the show, not somebody that watches like 205 Live, okay? Mm-hmm. Or the one that kind of do, like me, like once in a while. Mm-hmm. The fact that you see him selling and losing, eventually lose to someone on 205 Live, that's going to kill him on the main roster when it's time for him to wrestle a main roster guy.
Unless you have it be like a Mysterio or someone else that's a big, or Ricochet, someone else that can still be a big star on the main roster. I almost think you have to have him on both.
No, I mean, I like the idea. I do. I'm not in favor of trying to save 205 Live, though. I'm just not.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
I hear you. It's a dead brand, but if you wanted to make it something, because I just see all this talent in NXT that's going to get wasted on the main roster because they're smaller. And that would be the place. If you could make that brand hot, that would be the place for them. Or if you made NXT a legit third brand.
They should do that. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But with NXT being the third brand, but Raj, I think WWE needs to wake up and realize the direction. They started to wake up and push the Punks, the Daniel Bryans, the AJ Styles, the Samoa Joes, those that are not big jacked up people, right? You could be a little bit shorter and still get a chance at being a main eventer. I think they need to continue going in that direction because that's what they have coming up down the pipeline is shorter guys. So I almost think you need to continue to go in that direction and not bring it up, not talk about it on the headset, not mock someone because they're short, things like that, unless it's obvious when it's one of these short guys versus Braun Strowman or Big Show, then yes. But until that, I don't think you mock it or put it down as a weakness. And like they did with Daniel Bryan when he was in the land of the giants, beating Kane somehow, beating Big Show, beating Mark Henry. Back then it was unheard of. But like now I think they need to continue to look to go in that direction because that's what they have coming up. You're only as good as your youth. You're only as good as your youngest talent coming up down the road. And what they have coming up down the road is what you said, Raj, nothing but diminutive, shorter talent. So they've got to go in that direction as an entire company to some degree.
I mean, I agree, but just from decades of seeing how Vince books.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm just saying that they should.
Right, yeah. And so if he keeps doing this, what do you do? And that's kind of where I see things. He's definitely not hands-on with SmackDown. He doesn't attend most SmackDown tapings. So these guys are way better off on SmackDown when they come up to the main roster.
They are.
Yeah, but with 2 hours, I mean, it's only so much time.
Yes, Glenn. Good point.
Yeah. So that's where, I mean, having 205 doing something different with it, I think is good because that's the thing, they have a surplus of talent, and that's going to be a problem. And now they're doing, with the UK show, Triple H on his call this past week, talking about more expansion, more stuff they're going to do. I mean, they're almost hoarding talent. And so, yeah, very few people relative are going to get a chance to shine. I don't know.
Why not just give NXT its own, make it to the third brand already?
Yeah,
especially with the Fox deal, FS1, NXT will outdraw almost everything on FS1.
Hell yeah, it will.
And if you make it hot, you're making 200, 250 million a year now on Raw and SmackDown. If you made NXT hot, at the least that's 100 million a year. If you could make that brand hot, on a TV deal.
To me, that brand still NXT is hot. I mean,
yeah,
you put those crowds on television. And let the rest of the world, clicking through the channel, stop and see that experience, feel that experience. Dude, you got to admit that the fans that watch that show make it a lot of the time.
Real quick, before we move on to WarGames, I think the lighting sucks with NXT on these shows, at these takeovers, because they got like 15,000 people at this arena, and it looks like 800. You know what I mean? Oh, really? I know. I like that they try to make it intimate, but when you got a big crowd, you got to make it look like a big crowd.
I didn't notice that. I'll go back and watch it again.
Yeah, they only have like the first 5 rows lit up. You can't see anyone else anywhere else. And I know they're trying to be grungy and the alternative, but when you got a big crowd, if someone's watching this for the first time, they would just think that everything is dark because no one's there. You know what I mean?
The music is better. Their entrance ways, I think, are better.
I like it. Yeah. I like everything else with the presentation other than how they light the crowd. And I get why they do it. I understand the meaning behind it. I feel like they should do that with 205 Live because everyone's leaving. What's that?
The focus is on the wrestling.
Right. But when you got a big crowd like that, dude, show what a big deal this is.
They should pan into the crowd. You know what I mean? If you have to. How hard is that to do?
Yeah. Just have some lights in the background in the crowd so you show that this is a full arena, because that makes it seem that much hotter.
It does.
And they haven't been doing the hype packages the last couple of takeovers where they talk to people outside, where they show people waiting in line, talking to people, talking about special and better NXT is. I feel like they're not putting it over as much as they used to. So the WarGames match, the War Raiders, Pete Dunne and Ricochet versus the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. This started with Adam Cole and Ricochet in the ring. People entered one by one. Pete Dunne got locked in his cage, so he was a little late for the official match to start, the WarGames match to start. Matt, what do you think about the WarGames format now? The second year they've done this in a row, bringing it back. How do you think this is working? Oh, did we lose Matt?
Did we just lose him?
So, Raj, what do you think? How do you think this format... Oh, sorry. There he is. Matt, how do you think this format's working, the WarGames match format now, second year in a row?
I liked it. What was wrong with it? What was wrong with it last year?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just interesting. I mean, it takes a while to officially get going. The match doesn't officially start till everyone is in the ring.
It does. They did some good storytelling to get there. It got kind of a little cheesy with the door being locked.
Yeah.
The cage being locked. But once they were in there, I mean, I liked it. It was bedlam. War Raiders stepped up tonight, in my opinion. I know the final shot was Ricochet, Pete Dunne. They're the ones this match was designed to get over. But War Raiders, I thought, did a pretty damn good job tonight, because I've not been impressed by them. No disrespect to them. They're just two fat guys wearing paint to me. But they did well tonight, I thought. I
look at War Raiders and I see Killian Dane. And I just see where Killian Dane is right now. Yeah, exactly.
Me too.
And especially with the face paint, it looks like Halloween. the War Raiders, that gimmick worked in ROH. It's working in NXT, but it's
everything works in NXT.
Right. They look like they should be in a Geico commercial. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, like a comedy, you know, like I don't know. It just looks goofy.
They got to drop the whatever they're doing in their entrance. That's corny.
Yeah. Because they're talented as hell. I don't want to see them go the way that Killian Dane did. Because Killian Dane is talented as hell. He impressed the shit out of me last year at the WarGames, right? He looked like a breakout star.
He was MVP of that match.
Man, he can't get on TV to save his life now, you know, unless he's walking Nikki Cross to the ring.
Which I don't get because he is a big dude.
Yeah. But the big and fat doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
It's got to be big and ripped. You know, like the Braun. It's no longer the one-man gang physiques. It's I mean, that's just the straight fact. Yeah, I mean, the Hansen did the what did he do? That one hand elbow, whatever.
Yeah,
he did that one move in the match, which was just crazy. A guy his size doing it, but Vince sees that he doesn't care.
The match itself, though, Undisputed Era, great job. Looked like Bobby Fish hurt his knee legitimately, I thought. During the match there, he switched legs with his kick, his stomps, I noticed.
Yeah.
And he looked like he was favoring it slightly. He did a great job covering for himself. But I hope he ain't hurt. I hope we don't hear that. Hope I'm wrong. What's the other announcer? Nigel McGuinness.
Mm-hmm.
He does a good job for me on announcing. I like him, obviously, but like he's a friend. I just some of his stuff gets annoying. Like when Ricochet and Adam Cole were at the very top of the cage together, and he's like having a boner and having a heart attack over he baited him, and like screaming and yelling and popping, like I said, popping a Woody over it for like friggin' 5 minutes. My favorite part was Adam Cole started moving on and picking up Pete Dunne instead.
Oh, by his hair.
Like that completely pokes a hole in that theory.
Well, that's still better than like Renee Young would be like, oh well, that looks like it's gonna hurt. Oh, she's gonna be feeling that in the morning. You know what I mean? Like
pain in their ear.
Yeah, but at least he's selling that it's a big move.
It was that he baited him to the top of the cage. Oh my god, it was horrible.
Yeah, but I do think the NXT announcing it sucks you in more than the main roster announcing in the sense that everything feels like a bigger deal.
That's because of what's his name? The main guy.
Michael Cole?
No, the main guy on NXT.
Oh, Morrow.
Morrow's awesome.
Morrow's great tonight.
He's great.
He always is. He's what makes it for me. But did you hear them when Pete Dunne was locked and stuck in the cage, and they were right before he got stuck in the cage when homeboy from Undisputed came out, I think it was Bobby Fish, and or whoever it was, and put his padlock on Pete Dunne's cage, and it took him like a couple minutes to do it. Right. Okay, the announce team was like, "What's he doing? Wait, he's not. Wait, what is he doing?" For about a minute straight, going, "Yes, he's putting another padlock on it."
And Pete Dunne's just looking down like, Whoa.
Yes, it was. Oh my god, it took him a minute to say all that.
Yeah,
to get there. What do you think he's trying to do? Order a pizza?
Right. Yeah, you should be outraged that he's trying to lock the cage as opposed to wondering what he's trying to do.
What is he trying to do here? Wait a minute. He's not.
What?
No, he's not.
He's got a lock. What is he doing with that?
Yes.
It was a bit much.
Yeah.
I thought once this got going, this was a really good match. Ricochet, so glad they gave him that spot off the top of the cage.
Ricochet is a video game. I mean, that is such a true thing. Like, I don't see how any normal human being could do that and not get hurt.
Yes.
Insane.
It is. I've never seen anything like that. I've worked AJ. I've seen AJ. AJ's always been the most impressive to me when it comes to, holy bleep, what the hell do you even call that move? Right? Yeah. AJ was that guy for me for years. It's Ricochet for me now, dude. He just keeps doing things I've never seen before.
Even that one episode of NXT where he did that flip outside the ring. I forgot who. That was insane.
And perfect landing.
Yeah.
In the kneel.
And just walks up to him. It's like, what? It's crazy.
So it was good tonight.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but this match, I think it's tough to book a card with WarGames at the end of it, because we got essentially 2.5 main events tonight, maybe 3 main events, then WarGames. 3 main event caliber matches. Maybe you could argue a little bit about Kerry versus Shayna, but yeah, I think you go through that and you have WarGames at the end, and it's just it's like overload.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but for NXT is just so different.
Yeah,
TakeOver is so different. They're hot for everything.
Yeah,
it helps. It helps.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it. It felt like the crowd deflated or anything for this. I felt
no.
Yeah. It didn't feel like last year's WarGames though. I will say that. Like last year's was, I think it was because the WarGames came back after so long. That it felt like a bigger deal last year. This year, it didn't seem as heated. The rivalry between both sides, it was more like, you're going to have an awesome match and you're enjoying it, as opposed to.
Wait, Raj, hang on. I'm sorry. Do you remember the part in the match? All right, WarGames, where at toward the very end, when they all get up together, like
yes,
side by side,
that was awesome.
Like band of brothers,
and they're standing on the opposite sides of the
No, when they get to the ropes opposed from each
other.
Right.
Right. They're on the opposite sides of the.
And a foot separates them, and they're all like talking trash to each other. And
no.
I hated that. I'm sorry. I hated that.
It was very staged.
It seemed very, very planned.
It was like a comic book cover, like the face.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But I actually enjoyed it during the match. I could see how it seems cheesy now, but during the match, I was into it. I thought it was a cool spot when they were when they got in each other's face. I don't know.
And they politely stepped through the ropes. And they met each other and they almost French kissed each other, like on the metal plate thing there, before they started punching each other. Come on.
I liked it.
You just killed each other with chairs and all these kendo sticks, power bomb from hell, all these big huge moves.
But it's kind of like Rocky and Drago when they're coming out at the end and they're just like both beaten down. They're like, all right, let's do this.
It works with 1-on-1. It does. It does not work with that crap.
Yeah.
5-on-5. That looked corny as hell to me.
All right.
I got me and my brothers over here. Yeah, well, we got me and my brothers over here. And we're going to meet in the middle.
I don't know. I liked it. I was into it when I watched it. Like there was nothing in that match where I was like, "Oh, well, this is stupid." But now it's like when you're talking about it, I'm like, okay, I could kind of see it. But
they worked really hard to pull that off. It was quite the endeavor.
Ricochet with that freaking flip off the top of the cage. Oh my god, that dude he's a video game.
I don't know how to describe him to somebody, honestly.
I show like my wife.
Yeah, I was like, where's that come from, Raj?
Hey now.
Yeah,
Raj Giri.
Hopefully my wife's not listening. No. No, my wife, like she does not watch wrestling anymore. She can't stand it. She likes Jericho, she likes Elias, and she likes The Rock, like the big guys. But I'll show her Ricochet stuff. I'll be like, you gotta come and see this. And she's amazed. Like I kind of look at her sometimes as like showing something to someone that doesn't watch wrestling, and if it's something that they would be interested in, seeing if they're interested in it, like, oh, that was cool, but I don't care to see anymore, or that was cool, I want to see more of it. Like with I'm kind of diverting here, but with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, when they did that Festival of Friendship thing, she loved that angle, and she was curious to see who won and wanted to see like that match. Like it led to something else as opposed to like in the now, this is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Chrono Falco in the chat's pointing out the pyramid power bomb. To me, that felt overdone tonight. I feel like lately they're doing more of that, more of those superplexes. How many people can we get involved in this?
Yes. He's right. He's right. That was incredibly staged.
Yeah.
It always is, and then it's like whatever.
Well, anytime they do those electric chair, those
Tower of Doom things.
Yeah, it comes across as hokey, but it's always it gets a reaction.
Sure.
Okay, but here's the best part. They did not get the reaction. What's his name? Who's hanging out up top who had nothing to do with the move got the reaction. What's his name? We just said his name 300 times. The dude that does
Ricochet.
Ricochet got the pop because everyone started chanting They started chanting for
Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Because you knew. That's what we were waiting for. I mean, I don't know about you guys. That's what I was waiting for in this match. Ricochet is going to jump off the cage.
Like Ricochet and freaking WarGames. Some shit's going on.
Right. So those guys who took that crazy sick bump from that Tower of Doom was all for naught because it was just to get to that pop for him.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the setup. It wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, a bump to take for a setup.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of my point is when you stuff it full of this much stuff, the Pyramid Powerbomb would have been the high point of any other match like this. Then you have Ricochet on top of it. That's what I'm saying. It's like at a certain point, I don't want to say like they're wasting some of this, but it's like, it's just at what point does it get to be too much? Or do they paint themselves into a corner that you just can't top it anymore,
They put it all out there. I'll give the NXT roster that, man. They put it all out there.
They do it.
Absolutely. I mean, hard to imagine Survivor Series topping this tomorrow night.
They won't.
No. It's always that for me. It's always a no.
Has there ever been a weekend where they did? I think SummerSlam was close.
SummerSlam was pretty good this year.
I thought, didn't we think Mania? Like, we didn't think Mania had a shot at doing it? And then
Mania was good.
Was it? What was
Maybe
Mania?
I'm making it up.
Mania sucked. The main event sucked. Remember Roman and Brock and everyone was shitting on the main event.
Yeah, don't listen to me. I'm making that up. Okay. There was one pay-per-view where WWE came back. And we didn't give him a shot.
Yeah, I think it was SummerSlam.
Okay.
Oh, I'm already forgetting what SummerSlam was.
I always pick NXT.
I think it was Mania last year was the one where we were like, oh, that was actually really good.
Maybe, yeah.
Last year was Reigns and Taker. That match wasn't great. I really think it was SummerSlam. I think there was oh God, what was SummerSlam? Guys in the chat, what was SummerSlam?
AJ Joe?
AJ Joe was one.
Becky turned on Charlotte.
Becky turned on Charlotte, yes. That was awesome. And then Roman and who was it? Jesus.
That was where Roman beat Brock, right?
Braun?
Yeah, Roman beat Brock. And then they had Braun teasing the Money in the Bank.
That's right.
Yes. That was a really good show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Pete Dunne, Ricochet, and the War Raiders won tonight. Raj, as you said, Adam Cole might be moving up. I feel like a lot of these guys.
I don't know about that. I think Velveteen Dream is moving up.
Okay, so Velveteen, that's your prediction?
That's my prediction.
Matt, who do you think gets called up after this?
I couldn't tell you how they choose because I think Velveteen should have been up there a while ago, even though he can use a little bit more season, not because he's not good, but because his potential is more than anyone I've ever seen in years. His cap, we don't even know where it's at. His ceiling.
Yeah. It's
limited.
And Matt, to your point, the thing he gets that a lot of guys are not getting is that character aspect and the charisma aspect. And that's really missing a lot in NXT. It's a lot of good matches and moves and not like getting outside people interested in the character.
And here's the thing, guys. I've always told you guys this. To get yourself over as a character in the wrestling world, you've got to figure out who you are as a man first. And that takes years. I was like 29 maybe even, when I figured out like who Matt Morgan the man is, right, in real life, right? And then once I figured that, I'm like, I am kind of cocky. I'm kind of a cocksucker at times. You know what? Fuck it. Why am I hiding it anymore? Fuck this golly OG crap that I did on Tough Enough. That's not who I really am. Just dial that bitch up to a 10 and I'm the blueprint of this fucking industry. What? That kind of thing. And so I cranked it up. But like with him, the fact that he gets that at 20, whatever the hell he is, he knows who he is already and who he is as a character. Guys, I can't even begin to tell you how long that takes people. And
I do
at that age.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do think at times with Velveteen Dream, there are times where it seems like he's acting like he's not fully, like he could use a little more seasoning. Like Bray Wyatt, right? He doesn't seem like it's an act. Like you watch him and it seems completely believable. Velveteen Dream, there are times when it seems like he's in a character. And I feel like he could use a little more time to just gel that a little more to where it doesn't seem like he's acting at all. I don't know.
Because his thing is so far out there, his character, he's doing a lot of different trial and errors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be times where he does shoot it really, he does really shoot for the stars with something that's crazy. And it's going to look a little like what you said, a little like some acting, right?
Yeah.
But no offense to the rest of the guys in wrestling right now, that's what they all do. They're all acting. That dude reacts, in my opinion.
I think realistic stars. I think he's in there. Lars Sullivan, if he can improve, that's a guy that Vince I could easily see pushing. And I almost think I could see Lars getting called up. I could see Lars, EC3, and Velveteen Dream in this next round. And there's always like some random guy, right? Like the No Way Jose's and the Apollo Crews. Someone else.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Cassius Ohno.
Glenn, it's hard to tell because you hear Hunter talk about guys that are like made for NXT and they do really well. And there's guys that don't do anything at NXT and they come out on the roster and they do really well on the main roster sometimes.
Elias.
Great example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell who will get that call up. I can't tell. I can't figure out a gauge. I can't figure out what their gauge is for that, I should say.
Yeah, I really think it depends on what their immediate plans are for NXT. Is it going to be expanding the length of time? How are they looking at balancing the new signings versus the established guys that are already there? What's their touring schedule like? Does NXT have the capacity to handle as much talent as it has? Or do they need to graduate some people to make room?
Do you hear what you just said, though? We're talking about making people go up to Raw or SmackDown so NXT can move along.
I absolutely think that's the scenario they're in right now, right?
Yeah. Think about all the talent that wasn't on this show.
That's the way it should be, in my opinion, because I think the show's better.
Yeah. Kind of sucks for some talent, though. They're like, they had to put me up to the main roster to make room in NXT.
I could see that. I could see being a talent there going, you know what? I like this gig. I get paid. My bills get paid at home. I make enough money. I don't got to be rich. This is fun. And I'm getting crazy over here. I like this. I could see that.
I wonder how much better the money is for someone like let's say a Tyler Breeze, who works dark matches, who's working main event, as opposed to when he was in NXT. What's that?
It's those house shows he's working though, where he's making some good money.
Is he making good money? Because now they're losing money on the house shows.
Really?
Yeah, I mean they lost $1 million last quarter. It was a $1 million loss on house shows. So the payoffs can't be that great. You wouldn't think.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
I always had a set fee for my house, and then I get a little bit of extra on top of it, like a percentage of the gate where you wrestled on the card. But
right. I mean, there's got to be. Yeah, there's still got to be the same thing, where it's not just based on the house, but you get a base.
Yeah.
Well, notice no one ever complains on the main roster about being, and wrestlers complain a lot. You see Heath Slater and Sasha and people complaining about not being in Survivor Series. Tyler, whenever anyone says to him, "Oh, it's too bad you got called up," blah, 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 he's like, "No, my bank account is great." Even Mike Kanellis is like saying, "No, everything is actually pretty darn good." It sucks I'm not on TV more, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Hey man, you complain, you look what happens to people that have complained in the past, right? The JTGs and guys that have complained about their pay and stuff like that on Twitter, and then they get buried the next night, and then they're not used again.
What did who'd you say used to complain, Glenn?
Oh no, I'm saying like now you see like Sasha and Heath are complaining about not being on Survivor Series.
How'd they say it?
Heath was like, "Oh, I was captain of the SmackDown Survivor Series tag team thing. What was it, 2 years ago? And this year I'm not even on the card."
How scary is that he was a captain of anything? No offense.
Sasha, it's more, I don't want to say it's passive aggressive. Dana Brooke for a long time was very passive aggressive about not being on TV, or sometimes just flat out saying it, like, "Oh yeah, I sure wish I was on this week," to all my fans. Like they take little jabs like that at creative sometimes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when it gets traction, I think Dana Brooke said something one time, and then they buried her the next week. Like they just destroyed her.
Saying anything, and Heath Slater couldn't be the captain of my baseball card club, let alone friggin' a team. So he needs to calm down. But what's her name? Yeah, Definitely. She should be on Survivor Series.
Sasha, yeah.
Damn right.
I think Heath Slater has a lot more upside than how he's used.
Oh,
Maybe,
he does. I mean,
he's got a personality, which a lot of guys don't.
My neighbor has a personality.
But not many wrestlers do.
I like Heath. Heath, I think, is in the 2.5 years I've been doing this, Heath is the only active roster member of the WWE who has come on this podcast. So I give Heath credit for that. Yeah. So at least there was that. We lost Raj. So Matt, Survivor Series tomorrow night. What are you looking forward to?
Not much. I'll be honest, not much. Definitely not the Survivor Series match.
Yeah.
Glenn, not the Survivor Series match. I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to. That match, I'm not looking forward to. Obviously, Brock versus Daniel Bryan. I'm interested in that match.
Absolutely.
That's really it.
I want to see how.
I'm way more interested in Brock and Daniel Bryan than Brock and AJ for the second year in a row. Just because I'm guessing that the ending would have been the same. Like it would have still been Brock beating AJ.
It would have hurt AJ. This is the way to protect AJ, in my opinion. Yeah,
2 years in a row, AJ getting beat. Him and Daniel Bryan. It's interesting. If Brock wants to, like, we'll see what kind of mood Brock is in, right? Because we've seen Brock and Dean Ambrose. He gave Dean Ambrose nothing.
I think Paul will put the bug in his ear, though. I do.
Yeah. Because they could have an awesome match. I mean, Daniel Bryan, it's weird that he's heel as this small guy going into this. He turned heel going into a match with Brock Lesnar when it's such a natural, he's such a natural baby face in the match with Brock, right?
Yeah.
True.
You're right. It's very, very true. They could do a one-off if he wants to be face and Brock plays the heel.
Yeah.
They could, because he just turned heel on AJ. He just did it.
Right. It's not like they're continuing it after this. So they're stopping it. So you could do a one-off. Daniel Bryan's acting like a baby face, and then he's back to being a heel next week.
Right. They could.
Who do you guys pick?
Business. Huh?
For tomorrow? I mean, Brock, right? Like, there's no way Daniel wins that, right?
So Brian Wool, who's one of our guys, he's actually at TakeOver tonight. He's in LA. He did make a good point that a lot of Fox executives might be at this show, right?
I don't care. The President of the United States was there. Brock's going over.
No, but not that. But SmackDown is moving to Fox in October. Do they want to make SmackDown look like a shit show, like a B show, like all the stars are on Raw? With these guys in attendance that they just signed a $250 million a year deal with. Do they want to make SmackDown look weak? Because Ronda's winning, right? For sure.
I think you're overanalyzing that portion of it. I really do.
Yeah, it probably. I mean, I see Brock winning too, but you just got to wonder if that's going to come into effect at all. But yeah, I think Brock is beating Daniel Bryan, no question.
Removed from everything because they've done nothing to build this up. I think just on a pure match level, Shinsuke versus Seth Rollins could be really good.
Yeah.
I think tomorrow, if I'm trying to find things to look forward to, there's that. And I'm curious how Charlotte versus Ronda plays out, because now Charlotte is that stand-in. She is going to keep whatever is going on between Becky and Ronda going. And now, I mean, Raj, how true is this speculation that Becky versus Ronda could main event WrestleMania this year?
It's very true. What else do they got?
Yeah. Can't think of anything hotter.
I don't know how they get there and keep it white hot like this, though, with Becky. That's a long time to go.
They got to have her win the Rumble, and she picks Ronda Rousey. And I think they could do it. I mean, unless they F it up, right? Unless they start having her lose every match when she comes back and start doing that 50-50 booking with her. They don't do that. They keep her protected.
They do.
It's not far till the Royal Rumble, right? We're a month and a half. They're 2 months. By the time she's back, it'll probably be at least a few weeks. Then it's a month away. Just protect her for a month. Hopefully WWE can do that. I've seen them fuck stuff up before, but
Raj. But then what? What after the Rumble? Let's say she gets, she's the first or last entrant. Something cool. She wins. She calls out Ronda. Then what? She
beats Ronda, and then you got Nia, who injured her. That's, you know, and then you go to that, and that's her next feud. But I think she should beat Ronda. I think you keep Ronda strong, right? You keep her.
Where does she wrestle Ronda at?
At Mania.
That's what I'm asking you. How do they get to Mania with Becky being white hot?
Because Becky wins the Royal Rumble and challenges Ronda, and that's
3
it.
months away from there.
Yeah, but Rumble to Mania is quick. Like it flies by. Yeah, it's 2 months. Yeah,
February, March, April.
But end of March. Yeah, it's like 2 months and a week. But they get there quick.
So 8, 9 weeks, 10 weeks to keep that girl white hot and not mess it up.
Dude, she's been hot since SummerSlam. I mean, and she's getting hotter. It's not like it's dying down. She's getting hotter. It's like, so a couple of weeks after SummerSlam, Becky was getting these big cheers. And then they did the dark match after 205 Live. It was Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. And everyone had left by the time that match happened. And so it was kind of one of those things that people were like, well, people like cheering Becky, but they're not sticking with her for her actual match. I think that's changed now. I think people would stick around. Like, she's hot enough that I think that now, if you did that match after 205 Live, people would stay for 205 Live to watch Becky, because I think she's connecting organically, and as long as you don't do stupid shit, she'll be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
If they book her stupidly, which they do all the time, you know, I don't trust it 100% by any means, but I think it'll be. As long as she's healthy, doesn't get injured, and they realize what they have on their hands, because they haven't had this with many talents over the last couple of years, where it's like this organic thing that's not based on a catchphrase. It's not the Rusev Day where people like saying Rusev Day. It's based on the character themselves. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't see that often.
Nope, you don't.
The problem is that Ronda can't match Becky on the mic or on Twitter or in these promos. I mean, Ronda is over because she's Ronda, but she opens her mouth and it's like, oh, you know, it's just, I don't know if they could deal with Ronda looking that, you know, inferior in the promo department for that long.
Why do they keep calling Becky the man? Why
I agree. I don't like that.
What is that?
It was based on Ric Flair's to be the man, you got to beat the man. She beat Charlotte, so now she's saying she's the man. Yeah, I know it's kind of weak.
I don't like it.
But on Twitter, she's been awesome. On
her
TV,
Twitter game is the strongest. I used to think Big E. I used to think it was Big E, but Becky took over.
Becky's always has. It's always been well done.
Mm-hmm.
She's calling out Conor McGregor. Like, she's been always good at that.
Yeah, her Big E and Rusev have the best Twitter games.
Yeah, I mean, provided she's okay, she makes a full recovery. Getting busted open by Nia is going to be the best. I mean, that's what, took it to the next level.
If the plans stay, yeah, it could be the best thing.
Now she just got herself that main event match at Mania. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey Matt, can I ask you something? Do you remember a wrestler losing their push or getting fired for hurting another wrestler or hurting wrestlers constantly?
Yes, none are coming to mind, but yes.
Because I remember, like, Seth Rollins for a while had a bad streak, and it didn't affect his push. I remember Mr. Kennedy hurt Randy Orton. His push got derailed, and he got fired basically shortly after. But after that, I can't think of, like,
since then, no. But like when I was there, yeah. I can't remember any names top of my head, but yes, that was definitely something.
Yeah, because I remember Nakamura hurt Cena, nothing happened. I don't know,
it has to be a couple times though.
Yeah, and Nia Jax has had a lot of issues.
She has, dude. She cold-cocked her.
Is that not her not knowing her own strength? I can't see her doing that on purpose in today's environment.
Punches are tough to gauge. They are, and when someone's crowding you, it's not easy, you know. But still, you're a professional. You got to be able to pull it back. That's the gimmick, right?
But when you got like 20 people, just it's a chaotic situation. You get excited. I honestly don't think Nia did that deliberately. I know some people think that she did.
Somebody thinks she purposely punched
a lot of people. Jericho thought she did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
In today's WWE, they're so guarded. I could not see that happening.
I got to watch that again. I don't think she would do that. But
Yeah, it
whatever.
seems a little much.
It's careless, not purposeful.
Right. And then a lot of people make the argument, she should be back at NXT. I used to be one of those people who
So
say
she's
that
giving
about
concussions to NXT wrestlers. You're still giving concussions, I guess.
I can't believe she caught a concussion off of that, honestly, because she carried on like nothing was, you know what I mean? Becky's tough.
Not to sound
Becky's tough.
Not to sound sexist at all, but I don't like seeing women bleeding from the face, you know?
No, I know what you're talking about.
But Becky looked badass, you know? Like,
Badass.
that was such a star-making scene.
100%.
Yeah, and
100%. I agree. It was bad as, she like a bad you-know-what. She did.
Mm-hmm. It was such a... It sucks that she got a concussion for that, because that was so cool.
It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. And we'll see tomorrow night when Charlotte goes against Ronda Rousey. I think a run-in's going to happen. I think that's how they're going to get out of it. I could see both sides.
They don't care about beating Charlotte at this point. She's lost every pay-per-view. Well, she's lost the last like 4 pay-per-views. Why are they not going to have her?
Because you still have that dream match between the two of them saved.
I think Charlotte's just been wasted the last 6 months.
She has, but what do you do? I mean, I'd argue that she's part of Becky getting this hot too, though. Let's be honest.
Oh, for sure. But she has lost at every corner. Even when she doesn't lose, she gets her ass kicked by Becky at the end. Like she'll win by DQ and Becky beats her ass after. I mean, she's been she hasn't looked dominant. Like I don't know. I just don't see them worried about protecting Charlotte. I think Ronda beats her clean, you know, armbar. They have a good match. It's 10 minutes tops. I don't know. Maybe 12.
I don't know. She had a competitive match with Nikki Bella just a few weeks ago. I think with Charlotte.
It'll be competitive. I just think she wins clean.
Yeah, well, we shall see. We'll be back here tomorrow night after Survivor Series to talk about every match.
The 2 biggest matches on this card tomorrow night, 5-day build.
Yeah. We'll see, folks. Matt, anything you want to plug before we wrap this up?
No.
Okay, there you go. Raj, anything coming up on the site before tomorrow night?
No, man, it's a busy week. So tomorrow night, then Monday night. So keep checking out.
Cool. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. You can follow me on Twitter at Glenn Rubenstein. I'll be tweeting along with Survivor Series. And join us immediately after, once it goes off the air on the East Coast, for the Wrestling Inc. podcast. 3 of us will be back live to talk about everything that happened. Until next time, folks, take care.